From the discovery of fire to the creation of the internet, human beings have always been unsettled by the invention of new technologies. Our guest is a longtime researcher on AI safety and says this technology is different. We're not just making another tool here, we're making another inventor that can make its own tools. And he says there is a lot to be concerned about when creating something that could outsmart you. Let's get more perspective from Roman Yampolskiy, Associate Professor in Computer Science and Engineering at the University of Louisville in Kentucky. Thank you very much indeed for joining us.
Thank you for inviting me.
It's a complicated area. You've done a lot of work on it. But what is your number one concern when it comes to the possible risk to humanity here?
We are very close to creating human-level intelligence, which would, of course, assist us in doing science and engineering to create even more advanced form of AI, often called superintelligence, a system believed to be smarter than all of us combined in all domains. And at that point, we no longer control that technology. It can, for game theoretic reasons, decide to take us out, to cancel competition, to secure resources. And unfortunately, no one knows how to control something so advanced.
I know we can't go down the road of philosophy here, but will it become self-aware? Will it be conscious in the same way as we are?
That's a very good question. We usually worry about capabilities of those systems, problem solving, pattern recognition. Internal states of qualia are very interesting for research on robot rights, but they don't really make much of a difference in terms of safety and security.
And I've heard it said that one problem with AI is that we don't fully understand how it works. I mean, other technologies, we understand the mechanism. What do you think when you hear that word of caution?
That's exactly right. Those are black boxes. We know that inside of them there are billions, trillions of weights in a matrix. Those weights are modified through the learning process, but nobody fully understands what they represent or how the system makes its decisions. Historically, when software was developed in the early years of AI, it was an engineering process. Someone had to explicitly put that knowledge in, tell the system what to do in different circumstances. With machine learning, there is no explicit encoding of information. The system learns on its own. It just has access to a lot of data, internet text, videos, and then learns on its own. And what it learns is not something we explicitly control.
So in theory, AI, broadly speaking, could decide, well, why should I have this competitor in humanity, and decide to actually destroy us in a worst-case scenario?
That is exactly one of the concerns. Of course, you cannot accurately predict what a smarter agent will do, so I cannot tell you exactly what way it will use to accomplish that or why it will decide to do so. But it's one of the possibilities when you get to that level of capability. And unless the companies producing this technology can guarantee that it's not going to happen, this is a big problem. Typically, whatever company is doing, product, service, it is expected that they can guarantee that it meets certain levels of safety requirements, either from the government agency, regulators, or just common sense safety. Whereas with AI, we see those companies explicitly saying, well, it's lying, it's cheating, it's trying to escape. There is, 30% chance it kills everyone, but we're going to release it anyways.
Yeah, it is interesting. Do you think there's a giant sense of complacency when it comes to the risk from AI?
I would say so. People acknowledge the risk, but then ignore it completely because the profits are so great. If we're talking about billion, even trillion-dollar valuations for those companies, then it kind of forces the wrong incentives on the leadership.
And it seems unlikely countries are going to be able to agree. I mean, it's hard to get nations to agree on pretty well anything. We can't agree on climate change, for example. So it seems a remote prospect that countries will all get together and say, hey, we're not going to seek an advantage over other people at the risk of letting AI get out of control.
If it is understood that this is mutually assured destruction, if anyone builds and controls superintelligence, everyone dies. This is self-interest for the nation, for company, for individuals. So all the other incentives, like making a lot of money or having military advantage, are not relevant if you are no longer around.
Can we move on to the future of the labor market? You reckon that we may, in future, just have to have some form of universal basic income because there just won't be jobs for many people. But of course, that has psychological implications. People's sense of self-worth, for example.
Absolutely. So we do anticipate that most cognitive jobs, anything you do on a computer, will be potentially automatable. Now, sometimes people get to keep their job because other humans like a human provider for that service. But jobs like accountant, tax preparation services, web design, all those are very likely to be fully automated. So we do anticipate high levels of unemployment, and governments don't like a lot of idle people with no money. So they would have to provide some sort of a unconditional basic support. But very few people also look at unconditional basic meaning. What do you do with your life now that your basic needs are met? And historically, you would go fishing or something in a lake. But if a million other people is fishing in that lake, it may not be as much fun as before.
There's an upside. You say an intractable problem like climate change, AI could make significant progress on that, for example?
Yes, if we do create an AI we control, or we have advanced AI tools for specific problems, they would help us solve almost everything else we worry about. We have examples of amazing medical breakthroughs, like protein folding problem being solved by AI.
Right. I'm thinking about Asimov's 3 laws of robotics. The guidelines: a robot must obey the orders given by human beings, and a robot must protect its own existence, and it may not injure a human being. But your concern would be that if we try to put laws in there along those lines, the AI will have an incentive to just get around them.
Right, so those are literary tools. If you read his books, you know they always fail every single time because they're contradictory, they're ill-defined. Those are tools for creating interesting plots. They're not actually meaningful. Each one of those terms, not causing harm, for example, is very questionable. What does that mean? You're not allowed to eat donuts anymore? We know they cause you harm. At what level of control do the systems stop? And do we still have any free will remaining in a system controlled by advanced AI?
Apparently, Isaac Asimov came up with those in 1942 for a short story called Runaround. As you say, they do leave some big gaps. Thank you very much. That's some analysis there that's cause for concern. Really appreciated, Professor.
Thank you for inviting me.
Roman Yampolskiy, Associate Professor in Computer Science and Engineering at the University of Louisville in Kentucky.